computer you're using right now might exist because of a man you've never heard of. But here's the strange part. Most people will tell you Apple invented the personal computer. Others will say Microsoft did it. But what if I told you both are wrong? And the real story is almost completely forgotten. Because before the billion-dollar companies, before the fame, before Silicon Valley became a global empire, one overlooked engineer quietly started a revolution, and almost nobody remembers his name. So, let me ask you something. Who really invented the personal computer? And why was he almost erased from history? Stay with me, because this story changes everything you think you know about technology. Today, we're going back in time, before laptops, before smartphones, before the internet, when computers were not personal at all, they were monsters. Huge machines, as big as entire rooms, screaming with electricity and burning through power like a factory. Machines like ENIAC weighed over 30 tons and required entire teams just to operate them. At that time, a computer in your home was not just impossible, it was considered ridiculous. Experts genuinely believed, why would an ordinary person ever need a computer? But history has a funny way of proving people wrong, because somewhere in the shadows of that era, one man saw something different, something revolutionary. In the early 1970s, an engineer named Ed Roberts made a decision that would quietly change the world. He wasn't working at a giant tech company. He wasn't backed by billions. He was running a small, struggling company called MITS, and he had one dangerous idea. What if computers could be cheap enough for normal people? So he built something radical, a computer kit anyone could assemble at home. And in 1975, everything changed. The Altair 8800 was introduced. At first glance, it didn't look powerful. No screen, no keyboard, no friendly interface, just switches, lights, and raw computing power. But something unexpected happened. People didn't ignore it. They went crazy for it. Thousands of orders came in almost overnight. For the first time in history, ordinary people could actually own a computer. But there was still a massive problem. It was powerful, but almost unusable. And that's when everything took another turn. Two young programmers saw the opportunity. Their names were Bill Gates and Paul Allen. They built a version of basic programming language for the Altair, and that single move became the foundation of something much bigger, Microsoft. But the story wasn't finished yet, because a new wave of innovators was already rising. In 1976, two names would change everything again: Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. They introduced the Apple I, and unlike anything before it, this computer was designed for normal people, not engineers, not scientists, everyone. This was the moment computing stopped being a machine for governments and started becoming part of everyday life. And now look around you, your phone, your laptop, your apps, even artificial intelligence, all of it exists because of that early revolution. Companies like Apple, Microsoft, Google, and OpenAI all grew from the same foundation. But here's the part most people miss. Many historians believe the real spark was not Apple, not Microsoft, but the Altair 8800 and the vision of one man, Ed Roberts. Because for the first time, computers were no longer locked inside government buildings. They were brought into homes, into garages, into bedrooms, into the hands of ordinary people, and that changed everything. So, who really invented the personal computer? The truth is complicated. because history doesn't belong to just one person. But many experts agree, without Ed Roberts and the Altair 8800, there might be no Apple, no Microsoft, no modern tech world as we know it. And that's what makes this story so powerful. History doesn't always remember the loudest names or the richest companies. Sometimes, the people who changed the world the most are the ones nobody talks about anymore. If this story changed how you see technology, subscribe to Wingbad's Tech and History, because there are still hundreds of forgotten stories that built the world you live in today, and most of them have never been told properly. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.